Here now is Arizona Congressman Andy Biggs. He is House Freedom Caucus member. If you think of too much liquidity, I think of government spending more than anything. Yeah. There is far too much liquidity inside the Beltway, and it's our money that you guys are floating in right now, and that's one of the things that's ticking us off. Just when we thought that you guys were getting things in order in terms of deregulation, lowering our tax rate, we get this bloated budget, and Wall Street reacts with 1,000-point losses on the Dow. You understand why, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we've promised smaller government, and this is actually doing an about-face, a complete U-turn on that. So I get it. I get the concern that everyone has.
Here's a really key question, because we face another one of these government deadlines or shutdown deadlines this evening if there's not a budget bill passed. I'm wondering, and a lot of folks are wondering, what's worse, a government shutdown or a partial government shutdown, or passing a bloated budget that we have to live with for months, if not years?
Well, the reality is it's not a full government shutdown, as you rightly note. I don't even think it's a shutdown. It's just a slowdown in what we're doing in government. So I'd rather see that, quite frankly, than taking and adding to what's already projected to be $1.2 trillion structural deficit for this year, a $20.5 trillion national debt, and then basically also saying we're going to allow budget chairmen from both parties or both bodies, the Senate and the House, to be able to deem what the budget will look like if we don't pass another budget. And you know that's problematic. I mean, this whole thing is bloated, and it's, quite frankly, it's out of control, and that's not why Republicans have control of both bodies.
Now, we have you guys in the Freedom Caucus delivering your message, which is that this budget is wrong for very different reasons than why a lot of Democrats are saying this budget is wrong. We saw, of course, Nancy Pelosi yesterday with her 8-hour speech. She's against it because it doesn't have anything on DACA on it, or anything about DACA in it. Are the nays, do they outweigh in any way, shape, or form the people who are for this?
Well, the fact that things seem to be being slow walked over in the Senate and we're not getting it back just yet kind of indicates that maybe they don't have quite enough votes. I personally believe that you'll probably get the votes out of both bodies on this deal, but it's going to look very different, as you're going to get cross sections of Republicans and Democrats voting against it and some voting for it.
Will the president sign it? I mean, the president has been one of the chief preachers of government, smaller government, stronger private sector. This goes in exactly the opposite direction. Is this something the president can sign?
I think he's going to sign it if he gets it. That's the signal that they've sent. And I don't know when we're going to start cutting government. You know, we sent a CR over there earlier this week that actually would have maintained levels of domestic spending, discretionary spending, but it would have funded the military for a full year. So I don't know what happened from the House to the Senate that we come back and we've got this massive increase in proposed spending. So I think he's going to sign it if it comes over, because I think he's really concerned with the military spending, but there's so much in addition to that in this particular bill.
Oh, there sure is. And just last week, the market, I mean, the biggest downdraft in the market from where we were going, which was straight up for several months, came when we heard that the government's going to have to borrow $1.1 trillion because of all the new spending. This budget makes it even more than that. And of course, when the government spends that much in deficit, they have to put bonds on the market. The only way the market can sell all those bonds is by raising rates. That increases inflation expectations even more. There's a whole snowball effect to what's going to happen, and I'm just not sure that anybody inside the Beltway has really thought that through.
Well, there are people who've thought it through. Myself, Freedom Caucus, a lot of people who will be voting no on this. But let me just tell you, when we hear $300 billion increase above the cap, they're not even including the disaster relief, which is projected to be almost another $100 billion. So it's really closer to $400 to $500 billion. And that's adding to the gloom that I feel about this.
And you know what kills me is it sounds so worthy, you know, disaster relief or child health care, whatever. They put all these wonderful sounding names. How can you be against that? You must be such a hard-hearted person to be against all these wonderful government programs. But in fact, you look at the waste and the fraud in these programs. I'm just wondering, the only possibility of a saving grace here is that the president can do with these programs what he did with deregulation. That is, without going through Congress, to look at each particular program, Medicaid, Medicare, cut out waste and fraud. You could cut out hundreds of billions of dollars if you do that. Is there any will to do that?
Well, you define what I consider to be the biggest issue I've seen since I've been here is the lack of political will, because we know in the current disaster relief going on now, there's fraud like crazy. We've seen reports of it just this week of a single person company receiving a $157 million contract to provide 30,000 meals or something like that. And they provided just a fraction of that.
Yeah.
And I just find myself saying, government is so big now that it's very difficult to put the squeeze on it, and we have got to do that if we're going to save this country for our children.
Well, it's a good fight, Congressman. It's a good fight. Good luck to you in fighting the good fight. Andy Biggs, thank you very much for being here. Appreciate it.